Yeah. Okay. Thank you, David. Good evening, everybody. How are you? First of all, a big applause for Celtic for winning the game. Yeah. I was very, very happy. It was very privileged with Barney today to take us to Celtic, and the guys were very nice to take us inside to take a few pictures. Thank you, Glasgow. Thank you, first of all, Bethlehem Twinning Group, Bethlehem Glasgow Twinning Group. Thank you for Pal Cafe, and also thank you for our friend Barney and for the trade unions as well of the firemen for helping us to be here this evening, yesterday and today. It's an honor and a privilege to be before you this evening, and with my brother Nidal. He's in the Celtic shirt over there. Yes, make sure to visit his table and see what he has. I will tell you a little bit about Bet Sahur. Maybe you mentioned Bet Sahur, and just to explain to you about Bet Sahur, and then we'll speak about the Palestinian Heritage Trail. We'll bring you the good news. We will share with you 4 films today. Some are good, some are not good. So I'll be telling you a lot more about what we do back at home in terms of reserving the cultural heritage. And also we will be showing you in reality what's happening on the ground. So we'll share bad images with you for you to know, all right? Sharing the bad images about the West Bank. I'm gonna not talk about Gaza, but mainly the West Bank, just to share with you what's happening, so we can as well make sure that we convey the message very clearly. Then we will be discussing what's next and other things. All right? So Bet Sahur, my town. Bet Sahur literally means the shepherd's field. So across the street from our house, where angels appeared to shepherds announcing Jesus' birth in Bethlehem. So in the sky, across the street from our house, supposedly in Christian tradition, where angels were singing for peace in a land that does not have any kind of peace, but rather than shredded into pieces, sadly. So we will be sharing a lot more about this. Bet Sahur has been famous not just with life started in Bet Sahur more than 6,000 years ago. Actually, one other names for the town means the house of magic. But also, the town has been famous in the first uprising, 1987, with a non-violent civil disobedience to the Israeli occupation. Things that probably doesn't make it to the mainstream media. So we have stopped paying our taxes to Israel because no taxation without representation. It's a violation of 4th Geneva Convention and all human rights that the occupying forces pushes people to pay taxes for them. The result was closing the town for about 40 days, and Israel started confiscating a lot of goods and products, homes, furniture, whatever they can hold and put in their trucks. That was within 40 days. And it was unbelievable because Arab countries in the Security Council wanted to have a resolution back in the United Nations. And you know, the United Nations is dominated by these 5 powers. So there was a veto from America against the town of Bet Sahur. During that time, we also started boycott, divestment sanctions from the Israeli occupation. So the town bought like 18 cows to start divesting from Israeli dairy products. The result was that the Israeli soldiers saw the cows. They came into the place where the cows were, took pictures of the cows. So the guys moved the cows from a location to a different one. It was very difficult. Then the next day, soldiers came. They did not find the cows. So they had pictures with their pictures looking at the cows in the town like this. This is a true story. So I encourage you to see a documentary about this called The Wanted 18, if you didn't see it. That's a good documentary for you to see. It tells you the story of my town. This is actually the culture we have lived. Very quickly, I want to start by sharing with you a teaser about the beauty of Palestine before we start talking about other things. All right? Start with it? All right.
Not all those who wander are lost. Adventure is a path, a dissolution of fixed certainties. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. It doesn't matter. Climb the mountains and get their good tidings. Let nature's peace flow through you. Breathe. Kindness is a language that the deaf can hear and the blind can see. This will change you. Nothing will be black and white ever again.
All right. Oh, sorry. Drop the mic. It's okay?
If you stand over there a little bit,
Okay.
just so that it doesn't come through the speaker.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I just want to tell you.
Sorry, before you start, we're not filming the audience. A couple of people mentioned that they wouldn't want to be. We're only filming George.
I am okay. The Israelis know me very well. Okay, so I will try. The Palestinian Heritage Trail is just a very good idea, started from out of nothing. I'm going to explain it very quickly for you now. So the film, and did you notice the music of the film? The speed of movement, it's actually really fits the life in Palestine, in fact. Coming to Palestine, where do people come from? Most of the people ask me the question. There are two places for the people to come from. Either from a little airport, or what's called Tel Aviv Airport. You know, Palestinians built this airport in 1929, and we have no access to it. Today, Palestinians, we have no access to that airport. My brother and I, to travel here, we had to travel from Jordan. So we have to leave Bethlehem, cross several checkpoints, and come to Jericho, and then leave from that crossing borders to Jordan. You guys can come to Tel Aviv or come to Jordan, whatever you want. Of course, freedom of movement is not something that we have or we enjoy as Palestinians, but foreigners or internationals who come to the land, they have all of the kind of freedom of movement that we don't. The Palestinian Heritage Trail, it is a long-distance hiking trail that is community-based. Maybe this image explains to you better because the wording is not very clear. Yes. So 500 kilometers, 90 different local communities. We work with service providers between women organizations, homestays, and so on. We have a lot of services. We're talking about between part-time and full-timers. We have 600 people that work along the trail. It is community-based, that is work owned by the local community, but we work very closely with municipalities, village councils, and so on. So that's why it's very important. We continue working and empowering the local community in many different ways. Through the trail itself, how to manage it, and so on, but also through trainings and grants that we provide for the local community along the trail. The trail is a unique experience. It's life-changing. It will never be black and white ever again, for sure. Because people, when they walk on the trail, you get to see the reality by slow travel. The slow travel enables you to see by yourself. You don't need much to anybody for explaining to you for what you see, because you will be able to see a lot. And that is the best way of traveling any country, by slow travel. Why the PH Trail? The PH Trail is all the data is on GPS. You can please download the application. The application is online for Android and for Apple. You can download the application. You can see it's beautiful. It's navigational. It can help out a lot. You will experience a lot of archaeology, more 4,500 archaeological sites in the West Bank, but there is a lot of them on the trail. You get to see the real history of Palestine that is deeply rooted for 10,000 years or longer. That we Palestinians inherit all cultures, civilizations, religions from thousands of years until today, that makes who we are and our identity and cultural heritage. That's the uniqueness of being and living in Palestine. Also, the Palestinian Heritage Trail, since it's community-based, it enables people to have direct contact with the Palestinian people. Most of the mainstream tourists who come, I can tell you, many clergy probably come from Scotland with their churches and tour groups, and from other areas. Sadly, a lot of them come with Israelis, because Israel controls 90% of the tourism. So they have an Israeli guide and so on. Palestinians were denied to become tour guides in 1967 until 1995. So today we ended up having 600 guides, licensed guide by Ministry of Tourism in Palestine, and Israelis have more than 7,000 guides. It was Moshe Dayan, the Israeli Minister of Defense, or a criminal, of course, the one who said it's easier for Israel to teach Palestinians how to ride phantom jets rather than becoming tour guides. Imagine how difficult it was for Israel to have Palestinians become tour guides. Tour guiding is very important. So in Palestine, diversity of landscape is significant. 5 different landscapes in a very small area. Sometimes you see 3 types of landscape in one shot. The most important concept on the trail is how you become the guest, and the service provider will be your host. You're not tourist, you are guest. When you are the guest, you are looked after. Similar hospitality like we have here in Glasgow, which is very important. So that is the main concept that we have, and this is what makes the Palestinian people unique. Although all the difficulties on the ground, hospitable, and by the way, we are normally normally cheerful people, very cheerful, contrary what the media is trying to show us. I just want to go through the slides quickly so we have time to speak about other things. We used to organize a through walk every spring and autumn. We didn't call for this spring, but maybe for autumn we will call for it. We have about 90 homestays. My brother and I, our home is one of the first homestays in Palestine. After the story of Bet Sahur, many people started coming to Palestine and coming to Bet Sahur, so we opened up our home for the people. Then this developed to become homestays. That's how my parents paid for me to go to university, by the way, at Birzeit, if you are wondering which one. And we have diversity of landscape, diversity of accommodation with families, small guest houses, women-run organizations, Bedouin camping, and we have grotto or cave camping as well, which is very unique and special. Guides, we have been working with our friends from the Alps in Grenoble in France, and we trained our guides based on European standards. They're all well trained on all leadership, first aid, safety, security, and all the issues. So it's very important. So we conducted the first trekking guide training in the Middle East, by the way. Tour operators on the website, people can find it. Unique experience is to, while visiting Palestine, enjoy the landscape, but the cultural heritage, as I said earlier, this is Sebastia, that I will be speaking about a lot more. People will be passing by old wine press, olive oil press, local communities, local villages. When people are hiking, they get to see a lot unique water systems that exist everywhere, unique agricultural heritage as well, and agricultural practices that people get to see it by their own eyes, get to discover it by themselves. That is really very important. And enjoying nature and hospitality, this is our motto, that nature that is really beautiful as a small, different diversity of landscape that creates a human diversity as people living in villages and as Bedouins, in towns, and we have cave dwellers in Palestine as well. So it's unique, and that gives it a very different, very nice and unique and comprehensive experience. In addition to get to see the reality on the ground with the Israeli settlements, land confiscation, and checkpoints, and to see water issues that we have denied the right to access to water and sanitation and so on. These women, for example, they are the holders of the heritage. They know the story of Palestine before Nakba, before 1948. Imagine the images of Palestine in their own eyes and how they're trying to transfer them to other people. So they are the holders of our heritage. This Roman pool in the village of Battir outside of Bethlehem has an outstanding universal value. It is registered in the UNESCO Cultural Heritage List, the entire area over there. An intangible cultural heritage of the place is the practice of how to divide and share water between the different local families over there. And the village of Battir, which means house of birds, it's one of the most beautiful villages in Palestine. On top of it, as well, another water spring, also in the UNESCO Cultural Heritage List, not far from that area. Water springs and accessibility to water springs. A lot of our songs, music, cultural practices has to do with access to water springs. Today, many of these water springs are confiscated by the Israelis, sadly. This lady, her name is Masada. She's from the village of Kufr Malik outside of Ramallah. She's one of the first homes along the Palestinian Heritage Trail, and really very interesting place to visit her village, and one of the best breakfasts ever that she prepares. She works at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. with her family. Today in her house, we have managed to get a grant for her with 20 people can stay at her house, which is very, 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 very good. The Palestinian food, I know some of you have tried it here as well, but it's not as good when you try it from at the homes of people, you know. Even including your food, when you prepare it at home, it tastes better, you know. So when it's prepared at home, this is maftool, this picture, which is like women keep stirring around with the dough until it becomes like this and steamed and cooked in a nice way. And many other, we have many local dishes for vegan, vegetarians, and for lamb, beef, or all the kind of things, and unique and beautiful that's related to cultural practices that we inherit for thousands of years. Very quickly about this person, Hajj Haq. He passed away last August, but he was one of the largest cultural heritage collectors in Palestine. We lost him really. I feel very sad about him because his house is a museum. If you go there, he will sing for you on rababa, which is a one-string guitar, and and he memorizes thousands of poetry, Palestinian cultural songs, but also in his house he has collected a lot of artifacts, especially from before 1948. An amazing person that we lost. Now in Bethlehem we have a lot of his collections were transferred in Bethlehem. There is a small museum to visit in Solomon's Pools to see his collections. So if you are there, please do. Very quickly about the trail. The trail is waymarked 500 kilometers, north to south or south to north, including in Jerusalem. And it's my brother Nidal. He probably left. He's waymarking the trail, parts of it, and with other people, of course. Waymarking is very simple. We're using this system. This was the good news, and we will show you other good news.